Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the DC TV podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and over on the other side of the screen, over on the red, bathed in ginge and blood, Connor's here.
I'll take it.
Maybe the blood was just wishful thinking, but the rest was true. What a weird introduction to this episode. This is our DC TV show. It's the off season. Normally we would be talking about the new shows, Supergirl, Flash, so on. But they're not on right now. They've got a little bit of news, but we'll be doing some off season content. We'll be doing another episode of Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman, Smallville, and we're doing one episode of Young Justice this week because it was an odd number. And this week we've got a lot of things to catch up on tonight, so we picked the one this week. So that's what's happening, and we're catching up. And it's obvious that we're frazzled in our schedule because we didn't even have an episode last week. So apologies for that. Blame Connor, and we can move on with our lives.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm not going to argue.
Okay, cool. I was expecting a fight. I'm not going to lie, but
I mean, there was like one thing that was your fault, but I don't think it was this. And then I just did a shitload of overtime and couldn't keep up.
It was literally 3 out of 4 things were your fault.
Yeah, so I'm just going to assume this was one of mine.
So, yeah, here we go. So, this is the show. This is what we do. This has been a weird intro. I don't know where I am tonight, folks. Let's just get into it. News. So, technically 2 weeks of news here because we didn't have a show last week. So, it's worth mentioning because something big did happen last week. And that was the DC Universe has got a launch date. It's launching September 15th. Although, amusingly, not with the show it's launching with, which is Titans. That's not launching until October 12th. So, there's like almost a month of just
back catalogue.
Yeah, back catalogue.
Comics.
Yeah, I guess that's what the plan is. Which, whatever, fair enough. What is worth mentioning, though, is that's the week that Connor's away on vacation, which isn't a big deal in terms of, like, this show, because, I mean, we should be recording the show every week on a Thursday, when the new season kicks in. And what we're going to do is the week he's leaving, which he's leaving on the Thursday, we're recording a day early because there's only 2 new shows before that week. There's only Flash and Black Lightning, I think.
Black Lightning?
Yeah. Just those 2 that week. So we're just going to do a short episode that week. He's going to go on vacation. And then, technically the next one wouldn't be till the next episode anyway, the Titans episode. It'll be a day later than usual, but it's not a huge deal. But normally we like to do like an episode 1 thing on its own. I think I'm going to do that with Matt while Connor's away. But we'll be covering Titans the following week like we normally would be.
I'm sure Matt will do a perfectly adequate job of filling in my hatred.
Oh dear. Yeah, there were some new posters that came out with this news as well. They look pretty rough. They somehow looked
Let's not go there.
They looked even cheaper than the show itself somehow. I didn't think that was possible, but somehow they do. The Raven one in particular was pretty dire, but here we are. So yeah, that was the 2 things from last week. Titans October 12th, September 15th for DC Universe, which happens to be Batman Day this year. So there you go.
Does mean that for a few months this show is going to be stacked because we are going to have at the same time Arrow, Flash, Black Lightning, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and Titans every week. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're not lacking for content.
If Titans is terrible enough, maybe we just leave it behind after a bit. I don't know. Or is it that bad that we have to keep covering it? Because
I think realistically, it depends whether or not we can fit it in with Drunk Arrow.
It'll be a drunk double bill, yes.
Yeah. If we got time for a double bill of drunkenness, that it gets done.
Although to be fair, Titans will be a whole new different kind of terrible, whereas Arrow we're so used to at this point. So arguably between the 2, if we were going to drop one for time, it should be Arrow, because I mean that's old news at this point.
Yeah, new showrunner though.
Oh, I'm thrilled. Oh, they released a new poster for that this week. He's got a beard. He's got like a beard in prison.
Cool.
I didn't say it was big news, alright? I said there was a poster. Anyway, more interesting.
A man in prison doesn't shave. That's the news.
Hell, I don't shave out of prison. No, it's fine. That's not true. I trim, but still, the point being is that people have beards. It's not that weird.
Yeah.
Well, men have beards. Women not so much. Much more rare. Maybe in the circus. Anyway, we have news for Doom Patrol. We have So keep in mind, before we already had the Brendan Fraser thing. Now we have two more unique castings. Last week we got Alan Tudyk as Mr. Nobody, and then this week, just a couple of days ago, we got Timothy Dalton as the Chief.
Yeah, it's funny because we were actually talking about Timothy Dalton on something, just like a few days before this broke.
I think I was telling you that he's the best Bond because he's Timothy Dalton, and that was
And
probably
we
the
were both in
conversation.
agreement. It's like, yeah, we really like Timothy Dalton.
It's great. So
yeah, kind of like this.
we got Timothy Dalton. We got Wash from Firefly, from the same creator, of course, as the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Taking candy from a baby.
I know, but I have to be honest. The more I hear about this show, the more the cast, I'm like, the more I wish it wasn't connected to Titans in any way.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll be connected. It'll be fine. Like, I know it's a bit rockier these days, but I mean, Flash was connected to Arrow, and it wasn't like, Flash was much better than Arrow. So.
No, that's true.
So it doesn't necessarily mean anything. It does have that weird hesitation to it though, because of
So it's
that.
something to overcome.
Yeah, but hey, so that's Timothy Dalton as Niles Calder, the Chief, which I believe is Kelsey Grammer in the Titans episode. Funnily enough, so I'm not sure how they're going to explain that, if at all. It's almost like they cast him before they decided to make its own show, and then went, "Oh shit, he doesn't want to do a whole show."
He's playing in the Titans episode.
I'm sure it is, yeah.
That's weird.
Because I remember the
I'll
news coming
stay
up
away for that.
a couple of months ago saying that they're looking for another Calder, even though they'd cast him for the Titans episode.
Ah, fair enough.
So it's been known for a while that there was going to be a different actor, but this was
I've totally just forgotten.
So yeah, and then we get Alan Tudyk as the bad guy, which is exciting because he's really good at bad guys when he goes that way. Bad guys and weird characters named Steve the Pirate. Best character in Dodgeball. I'll fight anyone who says otherwise. And then the other thing to do with the DC Universe shows is we got news just today or yesterday that the premiere of Swamp Thing. So we're getting Swamp Thing news now. So
I've not heard this news. This is brand new to me.
Yeah, the director of that, unfortunately, is going to be Len Wiseman.
Okay.
Underworld.
Yeah, I know.
Just for anyone who doesn't know who that is. Also, Die Hard
Expectations
4,
lowered.
which was not the worst thing ever.
Not the best though either, is it?
No, but of course, we often see like mediocre directors do pretty good episodes of TV because they ultimately don't make the decisions as to what the overall feel of the show is. Even in episode 1, arguably he has more say than what directors after him are going to have, but at the same time, he's not the one dictating, here's what the look and style of the show is.
No, however, it is usually an indication of what they want from the show. Like who they hire is usually it's telling as to what you can expect.
Maybe. Depends.
Okay, it's just my experience. Usually, if they hire someone who's good at horror movies, and they hire a show, they hire and it's like okay, they know what they're so they want that sort of tone to be applied usually.
Well, so you're saying you think this means they want cheap action tone?
I don't think they want cheap action, but
yeah, I feel like I think of the known directors who do pilots, right? And I'm thinking, I mean, admittedly, McGee went on to do a good movie last year, so I mean, there's hope for anyone. But I would not have given him any credit when they got him to do the first Chuck or the first Supernatural, and both those turned out pretty well. So again, I don't like this director. I don't like him at all. I think he's bland and characterless. Lacks character.
Yeah.
Is there a single
Which
word
in some
that means
ways makes him the perfect plug-in TV director?
Well, yeah, that's true. It does. Is there a single word that means lacking in character?
Boring.
That's not what I meant.
I know. But
You don't find well.
I didn't have anything better, so I went with it.
So that's that. But then last bit of news. So we have an actress who was on Supergirl is going to Black Lightning, but not as the same character. But this is maybe not outright confirmation because it's not like, I mean, hell, just to go back to the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer and its spin-off, also hit television show Angel. They had a couple of examples where they had like a smaller actor play a different character on both shows, right?
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
I can think of a few notable examples.
Star
in
Trek,
Doctor Who, for example.
Yeah, Star Trek's done it. So yeah, this is Sofia Visavila. So Vasileva. There you go. I have to think about Vasileva. So she was on Supergirl, and she's going to be playing Looker on Black Lightning. So, yeah.
Cool. Did it say who she was on Supergirl?
This article is not, unfortunately. I'm on Newsarama. It does not tell me who she played.
For shame.
I know. It's a shame. Do you know what? I'll just do a quick Google. There you go.
See if you can recognize her.
I'll just type her. I'll just put her name in, put Supergirl, and we'll see who she was.
Yeah, usually a reasonable way. Google's great.
Google is great. Dear.
How many of the hits that you just got are just news articles saying this person from Supergirl is now in Black Lightning?
Pretty much all of them. Much. Oh, she was the one that the religious zealot. So this was last season on Supergirl.
Right.
She was the one who was at the center of that. Yeah, he's got up on a podium talking. Yeah, that was her. Okay. So she's taking a more prominent role in Black Lightning. She gets a costume and everything, probably. So there you go. Exciting. Anyway, so you know, there's news. Lots of little things. Well, I mean, I guess the Titan stuff is big, but
yeah, the date announcement, the casting was pretty reasonable sized.
I mean, it should feel big, but it just doesn't feel that Titanic.
When you don't give a shit anymore about the show, it's hard to get excited.
Well, that's what happens when they put a trailer that was that bad.
Yeah, and we defended it before that trailer.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was hopeful. There was reasons to be hopeful, but that trailer just stopped us in our tracks. That was, you know how people like to quote Breaking Bad when they're talking about the hype train and say nothing stops this train. Something stopped that train. It halted.
Yeah. That trailer literally just took the show out back and shot in the head with the shotgun.
You know, the train didn't slow down gradually. It wasn't like they put the brakes on and they screeched to a halt. There was a wall. There was a really thick wall.
They just blew up the tracks. Came crashing off.
And now it's a train without a track, just rolling down a cliff or a hill. Or
it's still happening. It's still going somewhere, just not anywhere that anyone wants it to go.
Yes. The lines have changed, and instead of going to your location of choice, you're on your way to Delaware or something like that. I don't know. So here we go. On to the shows. We talk about these TV shows, and the first thing we're going to be talking about is Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, Season 1, Episode 20. It is called Barbarians at the Planet. So, yeah, so spoilers for each episode, of course, as we talk about them.
I like the title.
Yeah, so I think I was right, because about Kat's last episode being the last one, you know what I meant? Because she wasn't here, and I doubt she's going to pop up again in the finale, because
I would be surprised.
Yeah. Given it's weird as well, because the entire plot of this episode is that the planet as a business is being bought and going under and then blows up, and it's like, why is Kat not involved in any of these conversations about losing her job?
She got her pink slip and then just went, all right, fine, and just left and never came back when they started fighting for the jobs.
Yeah, second favourite moment of this episode might be Jimmy going, huh, they really are pink.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Me. The best moment, though, so plot of this one is that the planet's having some financial difficulty. Lex asks Lois to marry asked Lois to marry him at the start. He's on the private plane. They're flying to Italy for food because rich people do that, and she says maybe. So then later on he describes it as an opponent in battle. Or you take away their support system and no ground to retreat to. So he buys the planet and he's like, oh, everything's saved. I'm going to but then he starts treating everyone badly. And my favorite part of the episode is when he introduces Perry to his new boss, the new supervising editor named Chip, and Perry says, hey, leave us a minute, son, I want to talk to Lex. And he's like, I don't think that'll be necessary. And he just grabs him by the ear and just, oh, I think that'll be necessary, young man. And he just throws him out the office. I was laughing so hard. And then I laughed again when he quits, and as he's walking out, he takes the photo of Elvis off the wall before he leaves.
Yeah. Perry's great in this episode.
He is. Every single time he said the word Chip, I was laughing.
Yeah.
Go and ask Chip. It was good. Yeah. So very packed episode in this sense. Jack was back. I really didn't think we were seeing him again, but here he is. And he's probably in the next one as well, because he's so focused. He's so, well, not focused, but he's such a part of the plot this episode that's leading right into the next one that I have to assume he's going to pop up again. So poor Cat gets no screen time in the last 2 episodes, but young Jack
Got replaced by this chump.
Yes, but Lex frames him for blowing up the planet, and the planet's gone. Lois has got a job at the TV network, Lex's TV network, and Clark's feeling all murky about this, and then he finds out about the proposal, and he's feeling upset, and he tries to talk to her about the fact that he's really in love with her, and she's like, "Nah, I'm not really in love with you, Clark, but I am kind of in love with Superman, though. I need to talk to him before I accept this proposal." Which is genius, because when Superman comes to talk to her, she says, "Well, I would love you even if you were a normal man with no superpowers." And I'm like, "Yo, yeah, he's buying that now. Buying that after you've just told Clark to take a hike. Yeah, sure. Sure,
Yeah,
Lois."
and he knows that. He's like, yeah, no. And he just flies off.
Full of shit, Lane.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so there's a lot of scheming from Lex. He's got kryptonite for next episode, and he double crosses them, and he uses a body double wearing a really authentic looking mask to betray.
Yeah.
Just in case he got shot, which he did. So the poor guy's dead.
I mean, he was right to be cautious.
Oh, true. Yeah, I mean he was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the guy wasn't getting paid enough though.
Well, yeah, I mean, risk reward, right? Maybe he did get paid quite a lot, and it's like, if you do get killed, well, I mean, it goes to your family.
Maybe. I'll see Lex having the honor to actually pay his family though.
No, probably not.
But
you get the money up front, that's what you do.
He talks a fair game, but too conniving.
You get the money up front.
Too scheming as he is. He's got his assistant, Miss Cox, who's basically Mercy. Like just in the sense that by the time she was like she had the big machine gun, and she had like the driver's hat on, I was like, this is just Mercy.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't just call her Mercy.
I don't know why either, but here we are. So, yeah, I mean it was a decent episode. I liked a lot of the plot it was doing. I think it was so plot heavy though, because it was like doing all this stuff to set up the finale, that it didn't stop and have as much fun with each of the sort of the premise as that it normally does.
No, it's true. The biggest moves did come from Perry, in terms of the fun stuff, and they were very good. But it did feel a little bit like we didn't have not enough compared to what we usually get. And this feels a weird thing to complain about, given that the plot stuff's all, perfectly good. It's not doing anything wrong. We should probably be quite happy that, we're getting some actual, plot. But this show excels at just the fun moments, doesn't it?
It does. I think it maybe just goes a little bit too quickly. It's like, I feel like if we'd had Lex buy the planet like an episode ago, maybe 2 episodes ago, and then do the bomb this episode. It feels maybe just a little too packed, a little bit too rushed in terms of all the plot that it actually does go through. And of course,
I can see that.
And it ends with Lois finally saying yes because Superman turned her down, and then Superman flies to the Arctic to just scream because he's a damn avalanche. Because he screams so loud. Yes.
And I'm pretty sure Lois looks like she heard it.
The effects there were a little bit, green screen, because it wasn't really in the snow.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, still better than the Smallville effects.
We'll get to those floating sizzles. Don't you worry.
But I just wanted to put in context that these effects weren't great, but still not as bad.
Yeah, we'll get to the floating scissors, don't you worry. Dear. Yeah, and Perry's like, I'm just going to retire now. I'm not going to go looking for another job. I'm too old for this crap. So he's like, I'm going to go travel and fish. Yeah. Hey, if you can afford to do it, do it. You know what? Why have the pressure?
Exactly. Why bother? Just take it as an excuse to do nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I like it from Lexi's perspective this episode that he systematically takes away all of Lois's friends. Like, pretends that he's rooting for them and just cuts them all out of her life. And it's, like, so vindictive and so scheming and, he just, He's Lex. He's Lex Luthor, basically, is what I'm saying.
Pretty much, yeah. What more can you want?
And I liked how, even though we didn't have to see all the flashbacks explaining how he did everything, because it was obvious that he did, I did like how it cut to that as he's promising to Lois that he's giving this speech about, I've done these things in my past, but it's all over now. But you see that he's been doing all this, and obviously he's got the kryptonite, so he's clearly still planning more shit. Like,
because he's Lex.
Yeah, it's not like he's done.
Yeah, exactly.
But here we are. Um, yeah. It, it's funny. I think what it does nicely though is that it kind of in a weird way convinces me why she would say yes so quick. Because they've only been going out for a few weeks. They mentioned that in the episode, and normally I'd roll my eyes at that. But I think by the end of the episode, when she's had her job taken away from her, she's had all of her friends essentially like removed. Like, she's not going to see Jimmy every day. She's not going to see Perry every day. He's leaving. She's not going to see Clark every day.
This is something. There's the stability there that you can count on.
Yeah, she's basically had her entire life pulled away from under her feet, and this is like just like it's a lifeboat, right? It's like, hey, here's some stability to put back into your life again, some normalcy, if you want to call it that. So, but hey, bit of trivia on this one. So, last season on Legends of Tomorrow, we got to the Elvis episode, right?
Yeah.
Right? And they brought up the fact that Elvis had a twin brother who died at birth, right? And I said, I'm pretty sure I knew that bit of trivia, but I don't know where it came from. This episode's where it came from, because Perry tells them this.
Yeah.
And I went, this is why I knew that fact! This is why I knew this!
No, it's funny, because when he said that line, I was like, this is where you knew that from.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought of, I was like, yep, that's it.
Yeah, no, it's just, as soon as he started speaking, I'm like, yes, that's why I knew this! It's because where else would I know this random elevator? Unless it was in Bubba Hotep, which it wasn't. But like, there's nowhere else I would know Elvis trivia from. It's Perry on Lois and Clark. That's where I got it all.
Should have known, really, shouldn't we?
I should have known. But as soon as it started, I was like, oh man, that came up, and I was like, oh yeah, it was that Legends episode.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know why I knew it, but here we are. So there you go. You learn something on this show. If you want to learn a few facts about Elvis, you could probably just look up Wikipedia, but if you want to do it with a bit more pizzazz, watch some Lois and Clark.
Way more enjoyable than Wikipedia.
It is. So no. But yeah, overall it was pretty solid.
It was, yeah.
Pretty solid. It suffers a little bit from packing too much plot in, but a lot of the character beats do make enough sense, and it sets up some nice turmoil for the finale. And obviously now the thing getting into the finale is, oh, well, Lois realising, I'm pretty sure she will, because there's more seasons of the show, but will she realise in time that Lex is actually an evil monster and not Mariam?
Exactly.
Will they have that fun? Well, that takes us on to Smallville. It's funny, I think the last episode or two we said something along the lines of, it kind of settled into a groove of just being really mediocre for a while. There hadn't been any truly awful episodes in a good bit of time. Oh boy, yeah. Did it come swinging this week. Did it come swinging. Oh dear.
Oh, it did.
Let's just get the annoying Superman lines out of the way that were forced and
they
atrocious.
get it out of the way. It's like the first line of the episode.
There's two. There's two.
Well, there is, but this one particularly bothered me because it was the first thing that was said to him.
Yes. There's like a recruitment thing going on, and it's the military guy says to him.
Yeah, it's a job fair.
Yeah, and the military guy says to him, "I see you in a suit and flying." I don't think that's the worst one. I think the Chloe one later is even worse.
No. That one is objectively worse, but this one annoyed me more because it's the first thing. It's just right out the gate.
All right, I can see that. This one felt way more forced to me because she gets mad at Clark. We'll get into that why in a second. But she turns to her and says, they say some men are from Mars, but you're from a distant planet in a distant galaxy I've never even heard of. And I'm like, oh my god, no one would ever say that. This is shocking. In fact, speaking of things that no teenager has ever said, later on when the douchebag from the OC is hitting on Chloe and they're in the hallway and he's like, I've been reevaluating my life, and then she goes, I've been reevaluating my life as well. No teenager in the history of the universe has ever said the sentence, I am reevaluating my life. Right?
No. I'll give credit to the first one who's been in a life-changing accident. That I think you might say that then, even as a teenager. You're like, well, everything that you knew.
It's more believable. I'm not saying it's still not a stretch, but I'll agree it's more believable than Chloe saying it.
Yeah, see, when he says it, I'm like, sure, maybe it's a stretch, but I'll buy it. It's fine. When she says the same thing, it's like, nah, shut up.
Yes, because every single time a teenager doesn't get the crush they wanted, or doesn't, the boy they ask out doesn't, it's like, oh, I'm reevaluating my life because the crush doesn't like me back. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Anyway, so yes, what's his face? What's his name?
I don't know.
Brody. That's the actor's name, Adam Brody.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
His character is just floaty fingers, dude.
That implies he's floating fingers around. That's not exactly what's happening.
Yeah, floaty McFingers.
His hand is mangled, or both hands are mangled. He was an artist, so he's upset, but he's got telekinesis now. Or telekinesis. I don't know why I said telekinesis.
I assume I'm going to try and defend you here. Feel free to shut me down and be honest. That you were going to say telekinetic and changed your mind, halfway through.
Maybe. Instead, what came out is a future sci-fi channel movie about a telekinetic Loch Ness monster called Telekinesis.
Oh, I'd so watch that. You know what, sci-fi? I don't even care. Steal that idea. We don't need anything from it. Don't need any acknowledgement. We just need it to exist.
Telekinesis. Oh, anyway. So, he's upset. He uses his powers to kill the doctor that fixed them because he's a bit of a dick. And then he comes back to Smallville. Apparently, Chloe knew him already. He was in the school, before the show started. He's just been gone because he's been,
injured
the whole time. And okay, fair enough. And then Chloe gets mad at Clark because Clark forgot to book tickets to some journalism fair.
I'd say pretty understandably at this point.
No, it's fair. She's right to be annoyed at him, but it does escalate to like a ridiculous, childish height as it goes on.
It does. It starts off. It's like she's like, "Oh yeah, well, we're going to this thing," and Clark's like, "Why are you going? Metropolis this weekend?" She's like, "We're going to Metropolis because you booked that thing, right?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I may have forgotten."
And Pete pointing out the obvious here is that she was looking forward to spending a day with you with no one else around, because whenever Lana's around, no one else exists. What really bugs... So this episode is full of bullshit relationship, like crappy writing and acting, right? It's full of it. And what really bugs it in this one is that we have to entertain the idea that Clark might actually think he's got feelings for Chloe. And maybe it's because I've seen the rest of the show and know that this never really goes anywhere. So it just feels especially pointless.
No, I think what is so egregious about it is he conveniently has no idea until it's like, oh, she likes you, and then it's like, yeah, okay, maybe.
Yeah, he's basically a teenage boy who's went, oh, she's into me? I could consider it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically what he does. But the whole thing is just there so that we can have Lana looking jealous, because now she's jealous of Chloe. Because Clark's maybe off the table, kind of like how she was with Whitney. Which, by the way, she flat out admits at one point that that she was only still with Whitney because she felt bad about his dying dad.
She was about to tell him, hey, Whitney, maybe let's just not do this anymore.
Yeah, she was going to break up with him, and then he's like, my dad's dead. And then we get the most over-the-top, slow motion in the rain funeral scene, which...
Oh, what was the song? Oh, God.
Time After Time.
Yes.
But it was a cover,
It was like a slow country cover.
What got me about this, though, is it basically killed... Because right before this, before the Lana witness scene, Clark and Chloe, like, let's go to that journalism thing, and then they hold hands, and it was kind of like, oh, maybe they will have a relationship of some kind. Maybe they are going somewhere. This immediately just died in this scene because Chloe looks at Clark as he's staring at Lana in the rain, and then walks away, and then Clark's left on his own, and he walks off into the night in the rain. What? What?
Oh, I hate this episode.
Oh, this is like everything you hated about Smallville is just back with a vengeance. All of it. Every part of it.
Yeah. We have to kind of relax over the last few weeks. Like, it's not so bad, right?
We had to suffer through a scene in which Clark's asking Lana for advice about Chloe, and actually brings up, not naming her obviously, but just says, oh yeah, I mean, I had feelings for someone and didn't act on it once, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to be their friend or not. And she's like, and Chloe knowing he's talking about her, right? Because it's as subtle as a dump truck. And she's like, oh, well, what happened? It's like, oh, we're still friends. Do you regret not doing something? He's like, yes. The time passed and I don't think it can ever happen again. And you can basically see her eyes streaming, no, it's not past. I'm wide open here, Clark. I'm wide open. Go for it. Go for it. Whitney's a loser. His dad's dying. He's pathetic. Come at me. Remember that episode where I was taken over by the flower and I was getting all slutty? Yeah, I was only half pretending to forget that. I was into it all. Right? Come on.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like, she's just like screaming at him with her eyes. And it's just like, oh my god. Everything about it is so unsubtle in both sides. And yet somehow they're both too stupid to realise that the other, like, or at least he's too stupid to realise that she's...
No. He's stupid and oblivious. She's going, go on, be the man. Ask me out. She's just waiting for it.
Which again, she's still kind of in the wrong here because she's not actually broken up with Whitney yet. If she wants him to actually go for it, it's almost like deniability. It's like, oh, if they get caught into trouble, then she can. Oh, well, he asked me. I didn't pursue anything. Like, plausible deniability. Yeah. That's what that is.
It is, yeah.
Oh my god.
It really is.
And I actually feel bad. Whitney's the most sympathetic character on this show at this point. The poor bastard.
I can't believe that you're saying that, and that's true.
The poor bastard is getting dumped by Lana. His dad just died. He's actually being nice to Clark. He's been nice to Clark for like the last 2/3 of the season, and Clark's secretly trying to bang his girlfriend. Lois is at his dad's funeral.
Oh man.
I'm surprised they didn't just go for it right there. Just like interrupt the priest at the service. Just like, hey Lana, do you want to go out Saturday night? Or continue, continue, sir.
I could have seen it.
It's just usually all across. Hey Whitney, do you think we could put you and Lana's relationship in the coffin with your dad just while we're here? Is that good? Is that a good idea? I think we should do that. Let's do that. Let's put it in. Get the photo albums out. We'll put it in with your dead dad, because that's how dead your relationship with Lana is. Dead is your father, who's dead.
Do you know what the worst part about all this is? Everything you just said is no less subtle than what actually happens in the episode.
I mean, I'm making Clark to be even more of a dick, but yeah.
Yeah. The level of subtlety, though, is exactly the same.
Oh dear. And we kind of glossed over the actual villain plot because, ultimately it's just kind of forgettable. I suppose I should give it a little bit of credit because obviously he was in a hit and run. That's why he got injured. And Chloe runs the place. Somehow, even though it's at least been 9 months since this happened, right? The police haven't even checked the partial license plate that he gave them. And Chloe checks it. And it turns out to be the principal. And I'll give them credit because... at least that's a character who's established and who's been around for a few episodes, right? There's been at least maybe 3 or 4 episodes where he's popped up.
Yeah, I feel like he's not been in a lot, but he's been around for maybe half the season.
Yeah, no, he was in the fire one, which was episode 3. So he's been spread out throughout the entire season. Yeah. So him actually dying in this episode was like, oh, that's almost surprising because he has been around, even if he's not a huge character. He's been established, which is kind of nice.
No, it's true.
I mean, the fact that it turned out it was his son who was driving his car, I was like, whatever, I mean, I don't really care, but...
Yeah. It almost feels like they're going, hey, that hit television show that had a running joke with its principals? We want to get in on that.
Which hit television show was that, Connor?
I don't know, it's blanking.
No, it's not.
I know there was one.
No. Right now, you're Lana, you're just not saying it. Your eyes are saying it. But you're begging me to be the one to do it.
Well, it's your shtick. It's your job.
Yes. I mean, Principal Kwan's not as good as Snyder or as Flitty, but I mean, yeah.
I'm not saying he is. I'm saying they're aping the formula.
Okay. Although Principal Snyder's a legend. He's like one of my favorite high school principals in like TV history. He's so good.
I'm not sure I can dispute that.
Anyway, so he dies, and then he finds out Chloe sort of eventually suspects. And that was one of the frustrating things, is like there were several scenes of Clark coming to Chloe, like, oh, I don't trust this guy, there's something suspicious. And she just kind of throws it out the window. It's like, oh, Clark, is this because you're jealous, or because, oh, now I'm off the table?
And to be fair, the first time it is.
The first time it kind of is. Once he actually like gets some proper evidence, though, she just kind of still ignores them until she finds the drawings. Because, yeah, by the way, if you want to cover your tracks, if you've been murdering people, maybe don't draw comics like actually depicting the scene of the crime. Maybe just an idea. I don't know.
It's usually good idea to do that, right?
I guess it's no different from serial killers who take photos because they can't help but like catalog it. They want to preserve it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah, I
guess I can't
suppose.
fault it in the psychology in this sense, but still, I'm going to point
Still
at him and say,
stupid on both of them, though, isn't it?
"Oh, it is, yeah." I mean, but hey, they're less concerned with
And
being
and
caught and more about getting off and what they're doing.
and let's talk about the offensively bad CG.
Oh yeah, it's Chloe's kiss scene with Brody's character, who was Justin Gaines.
No, floaty McFingers. I'm pretty sure that's not even the same thing I said before.
It's not. But they kiss, and as they're kissing, it's basically that thing that sometimes happens with Superman, actually, where he gets lost in the kiss, so he starts floating, kind of
Yeah.
idea. But instead of this, he's got telekinesis, so everything else starts floating. So we get these awful CGI, like staplers and scissors, and
Yeah. Do you know what the worst place? When they're floating at first, it's not good. It's still bad, but it's not offensively bad yet. The moment when the camera starts doing it, does the CG spin?
oh yeah.
That's when I wanted to vomit. Like, because it was just so ugly.
It was It was horrible. It was like, you are like 10 years too early to even try this. Don't even
Yeah.
dare.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I'm like, you know what? This is such a simple thing though. Get some string, hold them up, and just CG out the string. That's how
Yeah.
you're supposed to do it at this time period. You, God damn it.
And just move the camera. You're only moving in a circle. You're not doing anything fancy.
Oh dear, yeah, it was awful. It was awful. And then after this, like when she realizes they're floating, and he kind of tells her about it, as if she's going to be scared of him, and she's like, "I've seen Stranger Things," and I'm like, "No, you haven't, Chloe. It's at least 15 years before that show starts. Shut up."
Oh God. That was an awful one. I'm not giving you that.
That
one.
was great. That's all I could think about in that series. Since she said I've seen Stranger Things, all I could hear was the theme music in my head, and how much I'd rather be watching Stranger Things.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Not really applicable to this show though, is it?
So yeah. So then when he finds out Chloe's realised what he's done, he tries to kill her with a horseshoe. Which it was a funny knockout scene. You know, the horseshoe just sort of clonked her in the head, and then Clark came in and saved the
Conveniently,
day.
so Clark can arrive and get the second bit of awful CG with the chainsaw. Was it chainsaw? I can't
Yeah.
remember what it was.
So it was.
I
It was
want to say chainsaw, and it comes at him, and he jumps in front of the way, and it all splits apart.
yeah, I think it was a chainsaw.
I want to say yeah. This episode was really not memorable, was it? In the terms of the plot itself.
No, it wasn't. And that was the thing. The actual plot of the villain per se was actually quite a relatively small part of it overall, really, because it was mostly about the love triangle bullshit going around. So I don't know. But anyway, we should probably mention Lexi's subplot as well, which was just kind of there.
Lex had a subplot.
Yeah, like his old nanny who like took care of him when his mum was dying. She came to like say sorry for like leaving and said that Lionel made her leave even though she promised she'd stick around because she loved him. And then Lex has it to piss off. He doesn't care about her, and then finds out she's dying of cancer, and then goes and sees her and makes amends, and that's that. That's the whole thing.
It has no point except to add in about 7 minutes of runtime.
Yeah, it's basically just Lex needs something to do this episode, other than that one scene where he gives Clark advice.
It really feels like, well, we're paying him. We might as well use him.
Yeah, it does really feel like that. I feel like you could have used that time. Not that the rest of the episode was good, but you could have used that time to develop your villain plot a little bit better. Maybe raise the stakes. I don't know, the victim maybe. I don't know. Any of these things.
Just finish the episode 7 minutes earlier.
Well, sure,
Got us all out of our misery.
we'd love that. Also, was Jonathan not in this episode? I feel like there was no Jonathan.
I'm trying to think of what scenes we had in the house.
There was a little bit of Martha,
I feel,
but
I'm thinking when Clark he mentions about Chloe to them, right?
does he?
Does he? I don't know.
See, you
Maybe
said that,
what
and
I'm
all
doing is
you said that, and all I can think is the scene in Lois and Clark when he tells him about
that's
Lois.
the thing. I'm picturing that, but I'm feeling like there was a similar scene here, but maybe there wasn't, and I'm just kind of adding that in because I feel like it should have been there.
Maybe, I don't know. It's just because John Schneider's pretty good, so he's missed when he's not around. Yes, so and Pete
Pete still does nothing.
Yeah, Pete technically had more to do in this one than he's done before, though, just because he actually had some important plot things to tell Clark, which is more than usual.
He had exposition.
That's still important plot things. It's not good important plot things, but it's still important plot things.
You're getting worse every time you say that.
Important plot things, important plot things, important plot things, important plot things, plot things, and important plot things.
See, you were thinking about it then, so you got a bit better.
What can I say? Smallville makes me miserable.
That was tame.
And not non-committal.
I honestly thought you were going to go with suicidal.
But that will take us on to Young Justice Season 2, Episode 18. It is called Intervention. So this is, as the title could have implied to me, this is the one where they're going to try and separate Jaime. Well, not necessarily separate him from the Blue Beetle, but
cut off the connection with the Reach.
Yes, fix it. Put him back to normal so that he's not under their control. And that is essentially what it is. We have some of the team members essentially trap him and then take him to a location in Queen Bee's neck of the woods, where, because Batgirl found the big blue scarab symbol in the walls, and it did a neat thing where it kind of tries to integrate the mythology version of the Blue Beetle with the science fiction. It's an alien thing.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of melds the two of them, which is kind of cool. And it brings up Ted Cord, which is cool.
Yeah. Do you know what, this whole story with the melding of the two different ideas?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like every time there's a Hawkman story now, where there's we got the Egyptian thing and we got the alien thing. Let's try and put them together. This felt like, yeah, let's do that with Blue Beetle. And
to be fair, it worked for the most part.
It
was
did,
like,
yeah.
But a little bit convoluted, perhaps, but it made a decent amount of sense. So, they do fix them, of course. There's the fun kind of comes from Rocket sort of holding a force field, and she can't fight, so that everyone else has to fight off everyone else around them.
And she's constantly complaining, going, "Hey, still just holding this."
And then Zatanna's doing the spell to try and actually fix them, and then she's out of commission, so everyone else has to try and then there's a moment, because for the most part it's Impulse, Batgirl, Zatanna, and Rocket, but then in the nick of time, Robin and Cass show up, as in Wonder Girl, not Cassandra Cain, as much as I would like that.
Maybe next season.
Maybe next season. That said, we do have Barbara as Oracle next season, and we do have a Stephanie Brown spoiler, so I can see some Batgirl origining happening there.
Quite possibly.
I'm just saying, Young Justice Outsiders, do it.
I think we can rely on it quite safely.
But so that was where the action of the episode comes from. We did actually have a little bit of relation drama in this show as well, because we had the breakup scene with McGann and Lagan. They actually, saying their names together is actually kind of weird because they're very similar.
Yeah, it's the real reason they're together.
McGann and Lagan.
Yeah, that's it. Went, yeah, that'll do.
And if that's not bad enough, the fact that he's Lagan but he's Lagoon Boy is like even more. Like,
but it's not really like a secret identity for him, is it?
True. Still,
he's pretty recognizable. Can't really have a secret identity.
Well, my point is, he's got two very similar names, right?
He does.
And she breaks up with him, and then wants to see Superboy at the end, and it's like, oh, he's out with someone else. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll solve that by the end of the season. Yeah. So Lagan as a character is kind of probably one of the weakest ones of the season, because he's interested at the start as the new love interest for McGann, and that's fine. But then ultimately, because we care about Connor and McGann, and we care about the tension between them, that's what we kind of focus on. Lagan gets kidnapped, he's gone for a while, and now he's just kind of whiny because he's been dumped. And it's like...
No, I think the real problem is he's been kind of one note. It's not that we care more about, Connor and McGann. It's that he was the love interest, and that's fine, but everything that we've ever seen him do character-wise is just be angry about things. He was angry that, Connor was there, and then he's angry about them, and whiny kind of comes into that.
And that's different from Connor in season 1. How?
Because he had good legitimate reasons to be angry, in the sense that he was a brand new person.
I know. I'm cracking the joke, because that's kind of what Connor was in season 1, was the angry boy.
It was, but he had growth over the season. Lagan hasn't.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Cameron Bowen, who did Tim Drake's voice, also did Toyman. Because Blue Beetle fights Toyman at the start. Because he's for the public's sake, he's still the hero. Which I kind of like that the Reach, not only Blue Beetle, as in the Scarab, but also the Reach could still hear Jaime's real voice in his head.
Yeah.
That was interesting because they were like, nah, they can't hear you. Shut up, Jaime.
Yeah, and they were like direct control. Like they were the ones talking, and then it was just coming out of his mouth.
So that was a fun vibe. But yeah, so him and the green beetle, the Martian, get freed at the end, and the Martian is like, oh shit, well this is the first time I've felt like I've been in control for centuries, decades, whatever it's been. But the thing with Jaime, of course, which is interesting, is that they never knew why it was corrupted in the first place, why he was allowed to keep control, and it turns out it was what happened on Earth. It was the magics.
Ritual, yeah.
Yeah. And it's tied to the mysticism through the control that he has. And the Scarab's like, hey, I actually prefer just having you in control. I don't want to be a slave to the Reach. So Scarab seems on board.
Yeah, it does that really nice thing where it throws his line back at him of, oh, you've not learned anything from our time together.
So
yeah, well, that was a nice touch. Give it some character.
Yeah. Actually, I really like the during the final fight when Green Beetle shows up and they're having a big fight. I love the moment where there's blasts heading towards Zatanna from Green Beetle and someone else, and he in slow motion grabs Green Beetle and throws him in front of Zatanna so that he takes the blasts. It was just a really nice action beat. It was really, really cool.
It was.
So
it's a really solid episode, this.
Yeah. It's good. Obviously, again, it's playing upon everything that we've done all season. We have 2 episodes left. We'll be doing both of those next week, and we can see how it all.
I'm really excited to talk about the last 20 seconds.
Some cliffhanger set up for the future, I imagine.
Well, I mean, there was a reason everyone was angry that we never got a 3rd season.
Yes.
Yeah, you will see soon.
But I am relatively close to said 3rd season, so I don't have to be as angry.
Yeah, it's true.
Much like us watching Twin Peaks for the first time in 2017, right before the return, we didn't have to be mad that there was no more Twin Peaks after that season 2 finale.
Yep, we just got to sail straight on in.
Yes, we did. But yeah, that brings an end. That brings an end to this week's TV from the Multiverse, because we're done, and that's everything we're talking about. So
it's an end because we're done.
It's an end because it's the end. So yeah, of course, if you want to support the show, you can over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, and you can support us over there for as little as $1 per month and feel warm and fuzzy inside and keep the reviews coming. You can, of course, check out our other content. Of course, we've not mentioned it in a while, but we should mention that there's also Comics from the Multiverse, which is the DC Comics podcast, which me, Connor, plus Matt review the comic books every week, so you can check out that.
Big things coming up this month.
Yeah, Heroes in Crisis and Doomsday Clock next issue, Mr. Miracle's second to last issue. All these things are happening. It's a big month. Month. But then, obviously get us on Twitter at DC Comics Podcast or at mailed_fuzz, depending on which one you prefer. You can get me on Twitter at Wibble89, Connor's at ConnorRyan94. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. We will see you guys next week. So keep watching superhero TV shows and keep being silly and idealistic, because that's fun. And we'll see you guys next time.